Closing Bell is brought to you by RMB, a leading African corporate and investment bank that provides innovative financial solutions for clients across the continent.
Thanks for staying with us here on Closing Bell. Another company that reported results this morning is Accentuate. The company CEO, Fred Platt, is with me in studio. Good to have you with us today, as always, Fred. It's interesting hearing my producer, Michael, mentioning concerns as to what does Accentuate do. And I guess it is a very niche market that you operate in because of your exposure in infrastructure, chemicals, as well as flooring and other issues that you deal with. But let's touch on that because your company managed to post very positive results today, albeit from a low base.
Thank you very much. Accentuate primarily operates within the flooring space. We are the major flooring provider in the resilient flooring market through our subsidiary Floorworks. We're also in the chemical business, which provides the maintenance solutions to the flooring business and broader in the chemical business. And then we also have exposure in the water sector through a recent joint venture that we've done with India's #1 water player, Iron Exchange India.
I want to touch on your numbers because they did manage to impress the market, but in the results presentation you do allude to the impact of the strikes. Has that managed to die down?
Yeah, I think if we look at the financial results for the period, they must be read within the context of the NUMSA strike, which took place for the whole of July. So we had effectively no production during the period of July, having a huge impact on the recoveries through our factory. In addition to that, our chemical business is largely exposed to the steel and the mining industry. So we had the hangover from the platinum strike and then straight into the steel industry and the strike associated with that. So the two divisions were affected differently. The flooring business was affected through the impact on the manufacturing or the lack of manufacturing and recoveries, while the chemical business was affected in the market in which it serves.
It's very difficult because clearly being hit on all fronts here, and load shedding is another element that you alluded to in your results. Are you managing to sidestep or bypass this particular problem with increased spend maybe on generators?
Yeah, I think as management, we've got to take whatever steps we can to try and mitigate the risks. But the reality is we operate within a market and there's certain challenges that gets thrown at us. And at the end of the day, we as management have to address those. Within this period under review, we had a number. We had the strikes, we had load shedding, the strikes opening up the innings for us and load shedding closing it off for us. And in between we had what was still a relatively strong petrol price as well as a relatively weak rand. So all in all, we're not unhappy with the results that we've posted.
I'm tempted to ask if you sleep well at night, because these are a lot of pressures to deal with. And having looked at the Kagiso PMI figures, which also came in today, a significant sharp decline there, so obviously shows you that manufacturing is under pressure in the country. Are you concerned as what the future picture of this company looks like, given that you related to many different elements of the South African economy, which aren't exactly experiencing the upside or the bright side of conditions at the moment?
I think you are so right, and we're obviously exposed to all of these major challenges at this point in time. However, we've managed through the last couple of years never to post a loss. We've always made a profit, and we then need to also address the cost side of the equation when the market's under pressure, and we need to do whatever it takes in order to address those issues that are faced in the macro environment. We remain absolutely committed to this wonderful country, notwithstanding any of the challenges that we face.
Are you committed to your shareholders? It's been in the news, obviously, quite over the last few years that you've been blocking particular shareholders at your AGMs.
Well, I think maybe just to put it into perspective, and I think there's two incidents in question. The one was last year, there was a motion raised by other shareholders, and I just want to place on record that, shareholding issues is not necessarily where management gets involved or otherwise. We take legal opinion, and based on that, we act. Last year, there was a group of shareholders that raised an issue against another group of shareholders, blaming them of being destructive. And based on that, certain letters of representation came into question. As you know, we're waiting for an outcome of the court. This particular year, there was unfortunately an issue where there was how can I say this correctly? there was an unauthorized scrip lending transaction which took place, which, if not adjusted, would have affected a number of other shareholders. And based on that, the company took senior counsel opinion. And at the end of the day, we're not legal experts. We just implement the opinion of senior counsel, and we will stick by the outcome of whatever legal process may be taken.
But as the CEO, doesn't this bring a dark cloud that obviously hangs over the company and future capital raising initiatives?
Not at all. Not at all. I think the important thing is that in excess of 70% of the shareholders have pledged their support to management, to its direction, and to wherever it's going. So, unfortunately, there is a vociferous minority who have really been less engaged in the company from day one. However, our issue as management, we have a responsibility towards the company and towards all the stakeholders, of which the shareholders are obviously an important component. But at the end of the day, we have 70% of the shareholders that give us total support in the direction we're taking. And, unfortunately, the majority of the shareholders will, at the end of the day, achieve their objectives, I believe.
Good speaking to you as always. Thank you so much for your time today, Fred. That was Accentuate Chief Executive Fred Platt.